Hi, welcome to This Week in Ames. I'm Susan Guiazza. On today's show, we check in with the Ames Police Department to learn about some exciting new changes. My guest today is Doug Houghton, Support Services Manager for the Police Department. Doug, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
Well, we are standing here in the EOC, or the Emergency Operations Center, which is newly renovated, brand new. It looks great. Tell me a little bit about this project. We're here at City Hall, and we're on the first floor, and it looks completely different.
It does. We're in the north wing of City Hall, and that whole wing has been renovated. We conducted a space study a few years ago and really determined that there was a need to take advantage of some vacant space in the north wing. When we first renovated this building back in the late 80s, we installed a jail, and the police department operated with a jail facility for 15, 20 years. But about 10 years ago, we discontinued use of the jail, and now all the prisoner functions are handled over at Story County. So that vacant space was being used for storage, nothing particularly valuable. As we evaluated the space, taking advantage of that abandoned space was a priority. The other thing that drove this project was our Emergency Operations Center was relatively small, probably about half the size of the room we're standing in today. And upgrading that facility to help us deal with issues that come up, the kind of floods that we've had, power outages, storms, became a priority, and so we spent some time doing that.
Yeah, now the Emergency Operations Center, for those who don't know, is something that is basically activated during some type of emergency situation, and a lot of people can be in the room at that time.
Yes. The process, the Department of Homeland Security, both at the state and federal levels, kind of developed a process of how to respond to natural disasters, man-made disasters, and that process includes bringing together appropriate officials into a single location to help in decision-making and communication. And that's what we do. That's what we use our Emergency Operations Center for.
So you can have representatives of various departments, but also outside agencies that are all coming together to gather, share information, get resources out to where they're needed. So there's a lot of need for technology. Cell phone usage is important, and obviously it enhances the communication efforts and response to an incident.
Exactly correct. By bringing all those people, whether internal or external, into one location, they can share information much more quickly. They can talk about the issues, they can make decisions, they can keep track of what each of the others are doing as they work through that process. In our old EOC, we barely fit as a city. So the folks that would show up, the city manager, the folks from Fleet, the public works folks, when we'd all come together, we barely fit. It was tight. So the idea of adding outside agencies, whether that's emergency management at the county or state level, folks from Iowa State, whatever the case might be, we just didn't fit.
In some incidents, like an outage, it might be an hour or two, but when the floods of 2010 hit, it was days.
Yes, it was. Yeah, the Emergency Operations Center was open for days on end, which means that you had folks who were also taking care of basic needs like food and water, not only for folks in the community, but for folks working in the EOC who would tend to work about 12-hour shifts. It was complicated.
So this is a huge improvement. This is amazing.
It is. It is. We were able to accomplish this because we were able to secure a grant from the federal government for improvement of the EOC, along with the city money, matching city money. We were able to develop this room into a fully functional EOC. It includes a high-tech kind of connectivity for communications and information processing. We've got the capability to do live video conferencing with anyone else in pretty much the world. We can also bring in any number of resources, electronic resources, and hook them up and be able to share that information within the room and within the building or within the city.
Now the project wasn't just the EOC. We have new office space. We also have new space for dispatchers, and it's expanded. It really looks great.
It does. To make this happen, to make the EOC improvements happen, we needed to move things around in that north wing of the building. In fact, the room that we're standing in today, the old dispatch center, sat right in the middle of this room. So moving it became a priority, and it's moved to a new location. It also has had some technology improvements. In fact, we'll move in tomorrow with brand new telephone equipment that answers the 911 calls that come into the center. So we've, in the past couple of years, added new 911 equipment, new radio equipment, and new computerized record-keeping equipment to help them manage information flow as well. That would serve as a communication resource for the Emergency Operations Center anytime we open up the EOC.
So for the average visitor to City Hall, there are a few changes. The access is limited when they head to the north. From the exterior of the building, still the entry places are at the same place.
They are. The police department is still accessible from the north door 24 hours a day. The rest of City Hall still has the same entrance as it's always had. What's changed is a hallway that ran east and west along the north side of the building has been eliminated. So the only east-west corridor is now on the south side of the building.
And that would be the part of the building that was parallel to 6th Street.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Just to orient people.
Yes.
Now, one thing that's interesting, for people who've been to City Hall, they may remember that the building is a square with a courtyard in the middle. And one of the things you could do was walk the entire square. We're not able to do that any longer.
That's correct. With the loss of that hallway along the north side of the building, it's more like a C now with the north side closed. During the spring, summer, and fall months, the courtyard's still open and you can still walk through there, but during the winter, the courtyard is closed.
Yeah. So a lot of changes, very positive changes for the police department. Looks like new areas for storing things discovered in investigations. We have new records, just a lot of great improvements.
Yeah, the overall construction project that renovated the north wing included not only the development of the Emergency Operations Center, but also relocated our records staff into new space. It took that jail and booking function and shrunk it down to simply a booking function, so prisoners, arrestees will be processed here, but then taken to Story County for whatever jail time they might be spending. And then right across the hall from the new booking area is a new evidence storage facility that allows us better and more secure storage of those kinds of evidentiary pieces that we need to maintain, sometimes for years on end.
Now, I understand that this is just the first phase, that there might actually be a second phase?
That's correct. The original design, the original project, hoped to be able to move one of the offices of the city that's outside this building back into the building, and that would require the police department moving out of the basement. This phase helped us move most of us out of the basement. There's still a little bit down there, but moving the rest of that and then renovating the basement so that we can move our IT folks back into this building is part of phase 2.
Now, people might not remember, we've been in City Hall now for more than 20 years, and there have been some space needs. Things are different now than they were 20 years ago, and it's really interesting to watch those adaptations take place. Yeah,
it has been very interesting. There hasn't been a lot of work done on the building in the 20 years that we have been here. So this is really the first major renovation, and it has been successful.
Great. Well, we look forward to seeing more of this. I know that there's an open house coming up, and the public will get a chance to see it as well.
We are looking forward to an opportunity to have an open house, bring the public in as well as other city officials. We're looking at a date of January 31st, although that hasn't been finalized yet.
Well, great, Doug. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks.
As the city continues its budget process, one of those final pieces is the budget hearings. Those budget hearings are scheduled for 5:15 p.m. on February 4th, 5th, and 6th. You can get more information about the budget hearings on our website at cityofames.org. Well, that's our show for today. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week for This Week in Ames.